Welcome to BIGGUNNER81 Live, everybody. Presented by Applied Arsenal Finishes and Gunworks out of Watermill, Illinois. You've seen some of their work on my my competition rifle and our American flag rifle we got for the 50 States of AR-15 project. Also, Spinta Precision, which you've seen their barrels and so forth here, and some of the Glock parts. Which, speaking of Glock, you can kind of see we're doing some printing here. We're going to tell you about that in a little while. What else we got? We got, of course, Eggleston munitions and the range of 35. And so, before we kind of begin, we got a pretty good amount of people in the house tonight, which is great. Right now in the background, what we're watching is my 3D printer running. I've been doing a lot with because it's a lot of fun to 3D print stuff. And here you can kind of hear it running. But anyway, go ahead and introduce everybody. In the house tonight, we got with us TJ, Leslie, and Ginger. Welcome.
What's going on?
Not too much. Hey, congratulations on your first video and your start of your new YouTube channel. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, getting there, man. Getting there.
Cool.
Baby steps.
We can talk about what you got on there and what your plans are for that too. And we got Kent from Green Mountain Defense. Welcome, Kent.
How you doing,
everybody? Nice. And you're doing good. And our buddy Joe Gizzy as well. Welcome.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, glad to have you. And Corey from Southern Style Beards.
Hola, mi amigos.
Representing the grunt style, as always.
Always.
And also our buddy Brandon, who's also one of the guys that's helping us with the website for the 50 States project and so forth. Welcome, Brandon.
Hey, good to be here, guys.
Cool. And we're just, of course, my cam's down, so you're not going to see me tonight because I've actually stole the cam that I was using on my laptop to put over onto the CNC. Or I'm trying. I keep saying CNC. Corey started that. He said, "Oh, your CNC machine." Well, it kind of almost is, but not quite. It works off G code very similarly, but instead of taking away material, it adds material. We'll talk a little bit about that, I guess, here real quick.
I'm trying to figure out what is it doing? Is that a slide there?
Yeah. So the one thing about this view, I just kind of set the camera up on top of the frame of it, basically angled down. I want to get a camera view from the front where you can actually see the layers kind of being built up like more of a three-dimensional view, as this is like a two-dimensional view. But to answer your question, what you can kind of see when it moves around, the long black part with the little box in the middle, that's slide. It's actually printing it upside down. The little square grid patterns are like support material for the piece because, for example, as it 3D prints that slide, there's like in the back, that one small section that has like, I think there's like 5 little boxes on it. That's where like the rear dovetail sight would be, for example. And in the front, it's printing a little oval shaped where Brandon said in the intro chat, I'm printing the show notes. Yeah, kind of. We don't really do show notes. A lot of people, there's a lot of shows that do, but we don't. This is more of a free for all type show. But anyhow, it's there's basically it'll make that support material. So like if you're printing a layer above it, it would sag down, which is something we ran into while I was printing this the barrel I did yesterday. If you've seen on the Instagram page or on Facebook, I printed a Glock 17 barrel with a spiral fluting on it, and it is actually barreled or rifled. It has rifling in the inside of it. But now what I ran into...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Corey, ask your question, Corey.
Is that... so are these pieces are these working pieces?
Well, working in the sense of, are they dimensionally correct in that sense?
Yeah, like are they going to be able to be used?
I want to find that out. The barrel itself, I produced it, and I put it in my Glock 19, even though it's not really... The 17 barrel is not really the correct one for 19, obviously, but it fit in there, and dimensionally the chamber, like as far as the outside dimensions of the chamber, fit nice and tight, like right into the slide, an actual slide. I took a 9mm round just to see if it would drop into the chamber. It went about halfway. It's tight because if you look at the inside, and I can't show you on the camera right now, but there's a bunch of little hairs of filament inside there.
Okay.
That need to be cleaned up. Not so bad on the chamber part of it, but more so just in front of it. So I think that was preventing it from going out the rest of the way. So technically they should be dimensionally pretty close. I wouldn't say I'd say the drawing is dimensionally correct, but is the actual print going to be within tolerance of the exact dimensions of a part? It depends on how well the print comes out, I guess. There's a lot of little things.
So it has potential of being able to fire an actual round.
Yeah, probably blow up with an actual round, but yeah. Yeah, like could you chamber a round into it? Yeah, you could do it once. I've been thinking about this. So here's my thoughts for shows. That's why I want to get a second webcam. This is something kind of new I was thinking of. Like this print right here, I think it's like 7 hours, I want to say. If it looks like that one might be kind of screwed up right now, actually, for the magazine. It looks like part of it might have gotten stuck to the tip or something, just from looking from this angle, but I don't know.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it'll make a strand and it'll drag it around, and then it'll screw up the print. So that happens. I mean, but if one of those parts comes out, hey, cool, great. You can't there's a lot of things to go over about 3D printing, but back to that whole thing about making like an actual firearm. My thought was, it'd be kind of neat to assemble one. To that point with as many 3D printed parts as possible. Obviously, you can't 3D print springs. I mean, you might be able to. They're not going to work because you're working on plastic. But it'd be kind of neat to make all those parts. Maybe the firing pin, not so much either, because that's got to be metal. I mean, it really does. But just for the hell of it, throw it together, set it up like in an enclosure that you could film from, and just set it off and see if it'll actually how it will blow up. Will fire the round. How much impact force is that round going to have? Like maybe put some ballistics gel in front of it or something. I don't know.
Rick, what gen is that Glock slide? Sorry, TJ.
I'm not 100% certain. I want to say the frame looked like it was because it came as like a packet with all the files for like I say all. Basically, it had the magazine, this custom slide that has like some porting, I guess, on the side of it. You can call it little like rectangle ports, a barrel, and the frame. And the frame looks like it has a larger size mag release, so it might be a Gen 4. Not sure. You can find some people will label them, some people won't. Some are just basically renditions where they're not really dimensionally correct. So that's why I wanted to print this out. Like I said, this barrel I have in my hand. Speaking of the dimensions, I wanted to mention this too. I mentioned support material. So this one I selected it in the slicing software, which the software basically takes the 3D model and it slices it up into layers, and then it prints those layers like one at a time, kind of, and builds up like a just kind of builds it from like ground zero up. So I selected a setting that when I did this barrel that was to add support material from the bed to the piece. What happened with that is, so basically it built, for example, I printed this barrel upside down, so you've got the chamber sitting flat, and the actual barrel is extended and hovering over the printing surface. So it makes support material, which is like those little grid patterns and stuff that it makes like a piece that you can basically break off. Like think of like a model you used to buy at like the hobby store where you can like snap off the plastic pieces and assemble it. It's kind of like that, but it's not molded. Instead, it's printed. But I didn't select support material everywhere, and what happened was the barrel at the very the closer to the chamber it was, the more cylindrical it is. But the further out, it kind of got like smushed a little bit because as it was printing, the sides of it printed pretty decent, all things considered. As it was working its way up, to the halfway point of the barrel, but I think it was starting to kind of like droop at the top or something, and it kind of made it more oblong shaped and not so much cylindrical like it's supposed to be, if that makes sense. That's why I wanted to have my other camera so I can actually show this, because I have it in my hand right now as I'm describing it. The other thing you get is something called like salmon skin with 3D prints. It kind of makes like ripples in the surface of a material, especially if you have like a flat surface of some type. I don't know what causes exactly, but it's there's a lot of little things like that I got to work out to try to make the prints even better than what they are. I'm just kind of starting out with this and just playing with it and wasting some plastic, I guess. But The best print I had so far was the other day. I did this live. There's a video on this channel which didn't show the very final product because I just decided I was going to turn the light off and we're going to be able to see anything anyway because I let it run in the evening at night. It was 11.5-hour print. I just wanted to make a cup holder, or I keep saying cup holder, a pen cup type thing, like a desktop organizer. That thing came out pretty nice. And they're like, oh, that takes a lot of plastic. Not really, because that one I set the what they call an infill up like at 20%. So the exterior of it is like a shell, but the inside of it is like a grid pattern. So it's like hollow and very lightweight and doesn't really take up as much material as you would think. But I'm thinking it'd be kind of fun just for the hell of it during these shows to start different parts. And I'd like to do the Glock because it's smaller and maybe it'd be something kind of fun to put together. The actual, I think the print time on the frame, I want to say I laid all the parts out. It probably would have saved time to do them all at one time. But print to reformation, maybe.
It'd probably be more accurate.
Yeah, there you go. It might be. We lost our buddy Joe, but hopefully he'll be back in.
So, all right.
Ask a question. Yeah, go ahead.
So, theoretically, we can make a polymer frame. We can make a polymer slide.
Yep.
Why not get a lower parts kit? And that's why I asked about generation and like a Tactical Solutions 22 conversion kit.
Right, and try that maybe with the 22. I don't know. Like, there's no like. Put it this way, the rails are what I mean. I haven't printed one yet, so I can't say for certain with it. But I imagine that the strength of the rails might be strong enough to hold that slide from flying back at you. That's my thought.
And again, it's not going to remotely.
Exactly, fire it remotely and try it out.
Yeah, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah, like if you're saying like basically like if I printed a polymer slide and I did a 22 barrel and all that stuff, if I can find a file for a 22 style slide, unless there's a
the conversion. What I mean is the conversion kit should be.
It's not I guess I was going to ask. So the conversion kit, is it just a barrel and guide rod and stuff like that, or is it? I'm assuming
it depends on the conversion kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one was it Advanced Armament or Adams Arms or it's one of those damn companies. They make it. It's an actual complete slide.
I have a feeling part of this is going to come out screwed up, so I may end up like stopping it because I'm kind of watching it and not to interrupt. I was going to say because you can see like on the slide you can see some like little strands and stuff coming off the one part. I might have my speed setting too fast or something messed up on it, but I may even just let it print just to see how it comes out. What's that?
Advantage Arms, for the record.
Advantage Arms?
Advantage Arms is who I was thinking of, yes. They're the ones that have the actual conversion kit. And it's an entire slide assembly.
That looks pretty gnarly, that magazine. There's a lot of strands around it and stuff. So I'm sometimes I just laid this paper down on it. The adhesion to the board is kind of like critical. For example,
something I'd like to see. You remember a couple shows ago we were talking about we'd like to see like polymer mags, like training mags that you could abuse and beat up that wouldn't be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see theoretically if you could do one for a P320, just the magazine body, take the factory floor plates and spring and follower out of a factory magazine, and see if that magazine body will support the spring tension of, let's say, 10 rounds and function the slide.
I would like to find that out myself. That's why I was trying to print this.
If you print it, I'll test it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can find a file for a P320 mag, I'll play with it. I mean, obviously this mag's pretty screwed up. Unless, you know what, I could be wrong. That might be, the lines are not straight enough, so it might just be screwed up. I can't tell from here watching the camera for sure, but I'm kind of guessing it might be, or at least part of it might be.
You also could just make like the world's coolest original BIGGUNNER81 dry fire training aid.
Yeah, you can see this is the kind of things I want to put together for like you know, the Patreon supporters, you know, like some giveaway type items like that. I was playing around with this idea of making some coasters the other day, and I was just speaking about a little while ago about the adhesion to the board. The one corner of it kind of lifted off the board, so that just screwed up the whole print and warped the whole thing, and it was just I just had to stop it and toss it. Yeah, I would say that this print is screwed up at this point, because the little strands in the for like the front part of that slide are just not right. The floor plate looked like it was coming out okay. I don't know. We'll have to find out and see. But oh, here we go. Watching it on a webcam isn't as fun as watching it in person when it's just sliding around and doing its thing. But anyhow, back to I guess something else. But one of the other thoughts I had was to do like a print. I was going to say like each show maybe of or trying to do a print anyway. Like I said, this may not come out, but if it doesn't, we'll try to figure out what the hell went wrong and do it again. Doing like an AR-15 build, 3D printed. I want to try to find. You can find a lot of files for them. I want to try to find every single part I can, except for anything that has to be steel, like springs and stuff like that. And again, it's basically a model for display. This is one of the challenges. This will print up to like I think 14 inches tall piece. So like say you want to make a barrel, you know, plastic barrel, so to speak. Again, it's just, you know, simulated barrel because it's not really functional. Trying to do something that's standing up that tall and that's that narrow, and you see the bed moving back and forth, it would probably just like fall over or just not print right at all. Now, if you're doing it laying down, you know, lay the piece down. I forgot what the dimensions are off the top of my head anymore. I want to say it's shorter than 14. I know at least 9 something, but I thought it was like 11 or 12 or something. I forget. That's like pushing it out to the absolute limit. But you can make a barrel and make a SPR, you know, replica, you know, in plastic with it. So I was thinking about doing something like that and just kind of finding some different files for it.
I had a question real quick. That design that you've got right now, would you be able to take that design and split it up into different prints? So if like, you know, your slide is messed up, you could only print the slide.
That's a great question.
First, and then because your base pad looks like it's doing great. So I mean, to finish it, you got to let the whole print finish basically, right?
Right. Basically. So, well, yes and no. Actually, because it's probably lower than the rest of it, it might be done, but you know, before the rest of them anyway. So, you know, let's say I go look at this at the end of the show or whatever, and I see that, you know, magazine's not as bad as I thought it might be. It might actually be dimensionally okay on the outside. Then I could probably just let it keep going. But if it's not, and the floor plate's done, I could just stop the whole print and just scrap what I had there except for the floor plate. And then each one of these, to answer your question, though, is a separate file, believe it or not. The person that made it this way, because I think you can actually maybe make it all as one file if you really want it to, but it was all separate. Like the slide is one file, the floor plate's one file, the follower is one file. There's something else there too that was printing. I forgot what it was. If it's there's 4 pieces to the. Oh, it must be like an inner floor plate. So everything's there except for the spring, so to speak. I think that's what that smaller piece is. It has a peg in the center. That's the inner retainer, I guess. Floor plate retainer maybe is the correct term. Obviously, that magazine looks like it's got a lot of stranding issues going on with it. But as I said, it may turn out where that could be stuff that's on the inside layer of that magazine, which I got to clean out anyway. So it might be dimensionally okay on the outside where I can use it as like just hey, we can insert it, or you know, into a pistol just for fun to use it as a model, so to speak. Or I could take it if it eventually fits into a you know, right actual Glock, make it so it's part of a stand, you know, for it. That's one of the things I did with my cheap thermal mags. I did a video on that a while ago where I took my cheap thermal mags that are just kind of junk and kept jamming up on me, you know, partway through, and went to like a Michael's, which is like a craft store or whatever, and bought like a plaque, like a plain wooden plaque, painted it black, and screwed, you know, the floor plate down onto it, and snapped the magazine down onto it. And I've got 2 stands. I put a couple felt pads on the bottom, and now I got like 2 rifle stands, one for my rifle, one for her rifle, you know, sitting in our rooms and our room. And it's kind of neat. So we'll see, because this magazine, the way I set up to print, I had to actually do a little bit of changes in the way the print was being done, where I laid it like more flat. So the outside of it might actually turn out. The inside of it might just have some stranding issues and stuff, but there's supposed to be some support material on the inside anyway. So we'll see what happens with it. That's one of the challenges, you know, getting this stuff to like stick. Like I noticed there is some stranding on the that slide there. That slide's probably screwed up, but you never know. The top part of it might be screwed up, but it might actually print the rest of the way where you could, you know, still put it onto a frame if you wanted to. Not sure. We'll just find out when we get to that point how bad it really is. So I don't know if you guys got any ideas on it, or if you want to talk about something else now, because I feel like I'm beating it to death with the 3D printing stuff lately. I know, TJ, you want to talk about your new YouTube channel?
Yeah, we can talk about that for a minute. So yeah, just published the first video today. Just a brief review on just a really cool product that I stumbled across. So for those of us that reload, a lot of us have heard of the Lee Universal decapper die or depriming die. It doesn't do any resizing. Its sole purpose in life is to be multi-caliber and punch the primer out of the casing. Very, very cheap die. I think it's $12 over the counter. And the pins are about $1.50 to $2 a piece. And that's the actual mechanism that punches the primer out of the casing. Well, the ones from Lee, I've literally gone through 3 of them. My 3rd broken one is on its way back to Lee right now. And it got so bad that my brother and I actually started looking around at other materials to where we could try to make our own that would be better. He's got access to machining equipment. I'm pretty handy with a file and a Dremel, so I'm practically a master gunsmith. So we were looking at all kinds of different stuff. I mean, I've made knives and stuff before, so I'm not completely ignorant when it comes to metallurgy. So I was looking at like O1 tool steel, something like that, just to make my own that wouldn't break as easily. And in my searches, I came across this company called Squirrel Daddy, and they make a bunch of other stuff. I was surprised at how much other reloading tools and jigs and stuff like that they make. But yeah, he has a 3-pack of hardened steel replacement pins for this die. He's not affiliated with Lee Precision in any way. And we got him in, and I was amazed. Looking at the reviews, it was almost hard to believe. I'm like, there's no way they're this good. So yeah, sure enough, and you guys saw me do it in the video, but I turned the case sideways, centered the punch on the case, and punched a hole right through the case. If you would have done that with the Lee pins, nah, it would have snapped that tip right off. So yeah, I was like, you know what, this is a great product. I've been looking for an excuse to start publishing stuff on YouTube, and that was it. So as far as where I want to go with the YouTube channel, I'm just going to kind of go with whatever feels right. Reviews, I really hate to use the descriptor, stereotypical gun channel, but that's essentially what it's going to be. There's 19 million guys out there just like us that do the same stuff. But my intent is to put a little bit of a, my own personal essence into it, if you will. So you could expect my glowing charm and sarcastic personality to be ingrained into every little video from here on out. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll have some fun with it, and if it does good stuff, it does good stuff. If not, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. I'm having fun.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so something I actually wanted to present to the group, or propose to the group, if you would. Training resources. So top 3, top 2, whatever. If you could go to any instructor or any 2 instructors, which ones would you choose and why? And or any offline, or I guess the right term is online, but non-in-person training resources that you guys use other than YouTube videos. Because there's a lot of YouTube videos that actually are pretty damn good, right? There's a lot of guys that do a really good job breaking down the fundamentals, even some of the advanced tactics or skills. There are channels out there that do a good job, but not YouTube, but any other online type information resources. So blog posts, stuff like that you guys like.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm looking one up so I get the name right. I'll be right back.
Yeah, as
Well,
far as
it wasn't really training, but I've used I think it was Mantis, the
Mantis
basically,
X.
yeah, the Mantis X, right? Which is
Right.
basically, just helps with how you're shooting. It's just an app on the phone. It's a sensor that you put on your it's a sensor you put on your pistol, and it's really cool. It basically lays out a little map or grid, and you'll be able to see how much you're moving while the trigger's braking right before the break, and it's really handy. I guess it's a training tool.
No, that's actually a really good one.
So
it is.
It's fun. It's good for that sort of thing. Obviously, it's everything else that comes with training, you need to do a class and in person. But it helps you a lot with trigger break. A lot of people, especially new shooters, have a problem with that.
Yeah, newsflash. There's a lot of older shooters that have problems with that. They just don't want to admit to it.
Yeah. You can really see it. It magnifies it, right? So it doesn't let anybody get away with anything. It's cool.
All right, so I got you, TJ. Since you've been traveling down the 6.5 rabbit hole, and you've been talking long range stuff, a guy by the name of Ryan Kleckner has a book out called The Long Range Shooting Handbook.
I've seen it.
Okay. Do you have it? Because
No, I don't. I've seen in my searches for all things wisdom and knowledge. I've come across that book.
You really got to push through the first half of it, because there's a lot of what is MOA? What is there's a lot of stuff where you're like, yeah, I know that. I know it. But what I will tell you is that from a perspective of being able to turn that around and explain it to somebody else, he does a really, really good job of getting very, very fundamental and elementary to the point where you can read it to somebody who has no shooting acumen whatsoever, and you're like, no, I get what that is. Right. So
that's important. So I'm studying for an IT certification right now, and I started reading this stuff when I started college, and I've been out of college for a long time, even doing the job. And I'm going to tell you what, the ability to communicate in layman's terms, something that would otherwise be very scientific and technical, in my opinion, is the mark of a good instructor.
Yep. And my second one for you is a lady by the name of Kathy Jackson. I get a lot of questions from female shooters about female shooter specific issues.
Mm-hmm.
And for a very long time, my mantra was, a shooter's a shooter. It doesn't matter what's in between your legs, kind of a thing. And while that resonates to the actual physical pressing of a trigger and all that kind of stuff, Kathy delves into very women specific carry issues and does a good job speaking to the ladies from I understand you might not be a violent person, but what would happen if your kids were in danger, and a mom and her whole mantra is, if you're going to ever have to fight and you're a female, you should fight like you're a cornered cat. So her website, I think, is corneredcat.com. And she's got you could start reading today and read for a year and not catch up with all the stuff she's got on there. So,
wow, that's great to actually hear that kind of a repository exists for female shooters. Because I'll tell you what, man, I've come across those same questions, or just questions from female shooters that I end up going, okay, this is not a physiological issue. This is a fashion, a mindset. This is something that men cannot understand women. It's against the laws of nature. So, but finding that information is pivotal. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Kent, you're an instructor. You do that stuff on the regular. And I know you go to the SIG Academy a lot. If you could go to any one instructor and take a class, who would it be and why?
Okay, so I'm going to give you two. I'd really, really, really like to go work with Gabe Suarez out in California, because he was one of the first originators of a red dot handgun. And I'm working on that right now. Have been for last year. Like, when I say I'm working on something, I don't mean I picked it up last Tuesday. Like, it's been like a year-long thing or more.
Right. It's a never-ending process.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm to the point now where I would really like to see. I'd like a red dot specific pistol class, and to my knowledge, Gabe is one of the few people that's doing that. So that's one. Two would be, and this is not meant to be like a flagrant thing that I'm saying, like to get anybody's heckles up or whatever, but I want to go down to Tennessee and see what Jaeger's up to. I want to see what's going on down there. I've been hearing for so long, so many things back and forth, positive, negative, whatever, and I would just love.
We've had him on the show before, by the way.
No shit.
Yeah, we had him on. When I first met him in person, he actually invited me to come down to do fighting pistol with him.
Did you take him up on it? Because I wouldn't.
Not yet. I'd like to.
Man, I would absolutely love to do that, just because I get a sense from what I've seen of him and what I've read, and the different stuff that is out there, that he seems at least genuine. And for better or for worse, the guy's done a really good job of putting the firearms ownership, lifestyle culture, and gun training in general on the map for a long time now. So I'd love to get down there and see. And I've done AARs on SIG, I've done them on spotting and all the other stuff I've done, but I've never commented on Jaeger because I don't know firsthand. And I think a lot of people do that. So
yeah, I would say a lot of people are polar on that, meaning either like him or you don't.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm probably one of the few people that's in between on some topics. I think he seems like he's a pretty much face value type person, and so forth. I think he's all right, But I was going to mention a couple things. Kind of not to switch gears too much, just to take a quick moment to mention this. A couple people out there on YouTube and gun channels that are watching. And over on YouTube end of it, we've got Jared Walsh, who said, "Donde está Glock?" Ooh. So I don't know. And NC Engravers. I guess their website, ncengravers.com. I was just taking a quick peek at what they had there. They mentioned it when they were chatting that their website's kind of I think a bare bones like website, but it has a lot of good pictures of what they do. They do some like engraving and slide cutting with lasers and so forth, which is pretty awesome. They're out here in North Carolina somewhere. Hopefully we can talk to them some more. I'd like to know more about what they do and everything. Also we're on gun channels. G-Webs, our buddy over there, and he's watching. A couple of people that aren't really commenting, they're watching over there. But if you want to check out gunchannels.com, we also do our streaming on there live every week as well, where you can also chat. And the website's gunchannels.com, and our portion of that is gunchannels.com/BIGGUNNER81. We try to monitor the chats as much as possible to kind of see what people are asking questions and comments on and so forth, to kind kind of get whatever information and things that you want to know about. It's kind of why we're here. We're here to have fun, with shooting and anything that has to do with like Second Amendment type stuff or, firearms in general, and just to learn from each other and share some experiences and things. Just have fun. That's why I always say, let's have fun shooting, right? Just the simplest way to put it. And of course, what else we got? So a moment ago, and we'll get back into our discussion in a second, but I went to go take a look at the print. The slide's all screwed up. It is. In the front there, you can see that's messed up. The inner floor plate looks like it might be messed up. I don't think the follower is trashed yet. The mag actually looks a lot better than I thought it was. Well, I think a lot of what we were seeing was strands from the support material. It looks like the mag may kind of come out where it might actually be usable in the sense of as a model. I don't know what the inside is going to be like. One of the hardest things about printing a magazine is it's a shell. So, if you print it vertically, most magazines have some sort of tape, like not taper, but like angle to them, I guess. Well, and there's tapers too, but they're hollow. So if you try to print it vertically, again, you run that issue of, you don't have enough surface adhesion. It's going to start to build up and fall over or whatever it's going to happen to it, right, as the bed moves. The other problem is if you print it on its side, on any side, it's hollow, so the plastic is warm, so it's going to bow and collapse unless you have sport material. Put sport material inside of it, it's going to leave behind little rough edges and things like that, so it may not function properly as an actual magazine, but it's worth a try. I think it'd be kind of fun. I'd like to do an AR mag at some point as well, just to see how that comes out, and we'll kind of just see. Could just be fun for a nice dummy type mag, but we'll see if it actually turn out somewhat. We'll see. The floor plate looks pretty nice. All things considered, it's 3D printed. So I'm sorry, Kent, I interrupted our discussions on training and so forth.
No, we're good. I could go all day on that topic.
Oh, someone mentioned any feedback on Rob Pincus. I'll field that a little bit. Just I haven't been to an actual class, but when we were at NRA show last year, we stopped and watched him talk, I believe it was, and we sat through most of his whole thing. Lots of good information. He's a nice guy, really well spoken. It has a lot of great information. I don't know if you guys have any feedback on Rob Pincus.
Similar to what you said. I saw him at I think maybe it was at the outdoor show, or it was 2 or 3 years ago. I've not been on the range with him, but consummate gun professional kind of a guy. He's always wearing a suit when you see him at those things. He's always very, he's not a flashy, bravado in your face, superstar SEAL Ranger ninja guy.
I'll say this too. One of the things that impressed me about him, he actually remembered my name, because I've had him on, or I've been on another show. I think Tech Daddy actually was when he was on. And I talked to him before on Facebook and stuff, and saw him at SHOT Show and NRA Show and all that. But that was impressive. Most people, forget, because especially doing the YouTube stuff. I meet so many people through this in the gun community. It's hard sometimes to remember everybody's names.
You talk to us every week, and you normally mess up our names.
Damn, you're right. Exactly. That's what happens. I'm horrible with names.
Pincus has some killer books out too. He's got a lot of good stuff out in print.
I remember one time, I can't remember what the guy's name was, but it was like I was doing I was doing radio and the guy's name's written down, but pronunciation was really different than how it looked to me. And they went over and had me practice it a couple times. It was a word that his last name was kind of like a word that sounded like college or something like that. And I'm looking at him like I say it, okay, practice it. I screwed up the first time, okay, say it again. All right, I got it. Cool. Go live with it. It's 500,000 people or whatever it is that are listening to this radio show, and I just totally butchered it up. And afterwards, I'm really sorry, I messed up your name. So it is what it is.
Just one more as far as gun instructors go. I think we might have like a year or two left with this guy, not because he's going to die, but because he's going to retire and sit on his porch and smoke cigars. Is a guy by the name of Dave Spalding. His company is called Handgun Combatives. I did his 2-day course over here in New Hampshire, and it was a great experience. I've actually got a AAR up on that on the Green Mountain Defense YouTube channel. Another killer, consummate professional kind of guy. Street cop all his life, law enforcement trainer, that kind of a person. And really, like, I really enjoy the classes where an instructor tailors the topic to real world, everyday concealed carry, not to, like, you know, wearing a war belt with 3,000 mags on it and, like, you know, carrying a 6-inch long slide and, you know, rolling around in the dirt. So Spalding's also got, you asked for offline resources. Spalding's got some good books out too. So there you go. Now you have an insight into what I do when I'm not on here. I sit around here and read this stuff.
That's a good one. I'm curious about the rest of the crew though. Joe, Corey, Brandon, anything?
I'm kind of new to training. I'm doing some odd EPA and USPSA, but that's pretty much for my training right now. I would like to do some long range 6.5 Creedmoor training, and that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah,
cool.
I do some competition training with Tony Salas. He's been on the show before, and that's great. I'm just going to continue with that. He really knows what he's doing, and he's really good. He's really good at competitive shooting, and there's a lot of benefits. Not just competitive shooting, but just knowing how to perform under stress and all that sort of thing. It's really nice. So I would encourage people to try out competitive shooting. You don't even have to be super serious into it full time. It's just it is a tool. It's just another tool to build your skills. So I would say that, and let's just go with that for now.
Okay. Guess it's my turn. So I have not formally taken any kind of training or anything from anybody since I've been in school for the last almost year and a half. If I were to take any kind of training, I would really like to take some kind of class or go out to the West and train with Chris Costa. And the Tier 1 concealed guys who are my everyday go-to holster company. The CEO is hands down one of the fastest concealed draws I've ever seen from appendix carry. I mean, him, Chris Costa, BJ Baldwin. I mean, it's just absolutely unreal. And we've talked from time to time, and they're very welcoming and everything, and I can't wait to go out there and train and shoot with them and learn some new stuff, especially from drawing from a concealed position, especially appendix carry. Being a bigger guy, it's kind of hard when you have a little bit of a stomach. Well, I have a good stomach anyway, but it's a little bit different with appendix carry as being a bigger guy, because you have to have, obviously that shirt room to draw out and up, and then being able to go ahead and do a quality reload and everything. So them guys are probably who I'm looking forward to going out and seeing. Not just, because I have 4 or 5 of their holsters and lots of their product and stuff, but they are really quality people and really good people at that. I mean, they're very, very down to earth and really, really great at what they do. So that's definitely the crew that I would choose to go with.
Yeah, Corey. Yeah, so you bring up a good point. I wanted to get a pulse check from you.
Oh, God.
Being a brother of the tactical padding, okay? How are you liking the Tier 1 concealed holster that you just got in appendix?
I love them. I have 4, 5. I've got a Neptune cryptic blue. I've got a white cryptic. I've got an American flag, and then I have a regular OD green.
And they're all the same holster. You just get them in different colors.
I got one for the night. I mean, they come in. You can get them.
Of course, the different guns.
Yeah,
but it's the same model of holster.
But
they're appendix holster.
Yeah, they're appendix holsters.
And they just recently went to like a shot cord type.
Yeah. That's. I mean, they literally just released that. I got an email the other day that, you know, if you're on the email list with Tier 1 concealed, obviously you're able to, you know, get a little feedback, you know, and get one quicker because they announce it through email first before they go ahead and post it. But
okay.
I've seen them and they look pretty ill. I mean, I like them. One of the things that I really applaud them for is they're going with OWBs now outside the waistband, and they've got some serious OWB game coming out, and I can't wait to get out this summer and get one and really use it. So they've got a quick release, and then I think it's just a regular Kydex, and it comes with it doesn't come with the Safari Land fork and everything. You have to purchase that separately, but you can also get like a leg shroud and everything too to go around your thigh. So it holds it down while you release the thumb. So a lot of good stuff is coming from them. I absolutely love them. Like I said, I know a lot of the people out there and stuff. So I absolutely I mean, what other kind of holsters can you have that you have a leather flat with snap caps on it that you can just like rip off the mag and carry the gun if you want, instead of actually having the attachable mag.
Yeah, that was something that stuck out to me. I know they're pricey, but that was something that really stuck out to me when I was shopping. Because right now I've got a Bravo concealment.
You want me to go get it?
We saw it on you. Follow Corey on Instagram if you're watching.
Core beard.
But yeah, so that was one of the things that really stuck out to me was
you guys just hummed in unison.
that
hey, by the way, too, I'll tell you what I use right now is an Aries tactical holster. They're Kydex holsters.
Mhm.
That's why I use my Glock 19. I like it. I like it with an Alta clip. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Alta clip, but I know I've got videos, or at least I should have one video out there, at least on my YouTube of it, and there's probably some photos somewhere. But that's where I first learned about the Alta clip, was from Aries Tactical with this holster. And what I like about it is I can take this holster, you know, appendix carry it, and clip it on my jeans. I don't have to worry about having a gun belt or anything, or even having a belt at all, if unless I want to keep my pants up, of course, like I do normally. But in other words, it doesn't require anything special. It just has to have something to clip onto as far as fabric. And what I like about it is I can take it off. I can put it into like a go bag or something. And if a go bag has pockets, like I have a particular one that has a pocket in it, I can put it in the pocket and clip it onto the pocket. Now, if I have to ever reach in and grab my gun, I can pull out my gun and leave my holster in the bag. It'll stay in place. It's very versatile.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those Alta clips sitting in a drawer somewhere, just in case just for that reason, if I'm going to put it in a bag or something like that. Mm-hmm. I clip it right on.
And they work not only with like holsters like for firearms, but they work for other things too. Like, I mean, like if you have a knife sheath or something, some of those have a similar J-hook style attachment for them. And you can, Corey's showing some holsters on here too. You can use it like on that as well, like a knife sheath or something. Just bolts on, or attaches with regular like hardware. Very similar like the J hooks that you see on these holsters that he's showing now. You can replace those with Alta clips.
Yeah, so like the Tier 1 concealed, the new Axis here, it's got the Perry cord in between it. I don't know if it'll. There you go. So as you can see, it doesn't have the snap caps. So it's very flexible and very durable, just like the leather. Only it's more accommodating. Let me see if I can go back here. And here's
can you is that just tied in the back? Can you like untie it? So like that's the appeal of the current Aegis, right? You can just pull the snaps. If I just want to carry my gun, don't want to carry a spare mag.
Yeah, you just unsnap it.
Yep, rip that off and you're good to go.
Yep, just unsnap the mag carrier and you're good to go just to carry the gun.
Now what about the new one? How does that change with the new design they have?
As far as the new design, I'm not 100% sure whether you can go around in the it looks like you can change everything. The way it looks, you can change different colors.
Yeah, it looks like they're using shock cord and the
so you can
clips.
Yeah, you can see with the top one, they cross the cord, and then here at the bottom they double them up. So I mean, these holsters are really, really phenomenal. As you see, you can also even have, where it's even close together, where if you have to have the mag, you don't have to get it to where it releases. So they also, like I said, are coming out with, and these are all custom made too. So you can get these in any kind of Kydex that you want, multicam, ACUs. You can do blood red, orange, whatever it is you like. You can get spare mags. Here's the new Centurion thumb release holster here, and there's the Safari Land fork there, and you can get those in carbon fiber as well. And they also have the accessories page. And see, if you go ahead and you buy the accessories, they'll actually go ahead and install it for you onto the holster. So once you get it out of the box, it's ready to go.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's another good thing.
You mentioned carbon fiber. I'm sure that's carbon fiber Kydex.
Yes, carbon fiber Kydex. Yes. Let me see here. A lot of these you can customize. Let's see. We'll just go to the custom Aegis here. See, they've got red carbon fiber. They've got regular black Kydex. They got multicam. They offer optic cuts, sweat guards. You can get the back color that's facing the gun or facing away from the gun. The colors can change. You can add threaded barrels, optics, lights, attachments, whatever it is. I mean, it's just.
That's answered my question. I was going to ask you if they did an optic cut and a light attachment on the same holster.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. See, they have a light attachment here, and then down here they got an optic cut right here.
Perfect.
You just hit yes, and then you select what model of light you want. They got Surefires, Viridians, Streamlights, Enforce. Just all out quality holsters. I mean, if you like to carry appendix, that's the way to go.
What are they running for lead time? Do you have a sense of that?
About 5 to 15 business days right here up at top.
5 to 15, is that all?
Yeah.
There's another 100 blocks. Thanks, Corey.
No, I mean, you're looking, it's free shipping for over 200. I mean, and the more modifications that you have to do to the holster, like just adding the weapon light compatible, you're adding $20 extra to a $130 gun or
$200, whatever.
So, I mean,
before the end of the night.
I know, right? And these holsters are absolutely, not only are they stylish, but they're absolutely legit. I mean, I wear mine all the time, and you can't see anything. If I want to go without the mag, I just unsnap it, put it in, and it's easy to conceal. It's easy to hide. It's easy to put in. Wow, that sounded kind of weird, but
yeah, I was like, what?
Can we cue up a "That's What She Said" soundtrack?
We need a soundboard set up.
But these holsters are 100%. 110% give everything I have to these holsters. I like these.
That's not physically possible.
Yeah. I mean, like this sits on the pillow where my wife's supposed to go in bed, and I have to put her on the couch. I mean, they're just
okay. That's a little bit strange.
How much do they charge for that kind of attachment to the holster?
A lot.
Jeez.
Prenups and yeah. So I mean, but I swear by these holsters. These holsters are great.
If anyone from Tier 1 Concealment is watching this right now, Corey is a brand ambassador for Grunt Style, and I think he is definitely in the running for your first brand ambassador.
There you go.
There's a bunch of us out there that love Tier 1 Concealed. I've got one of the. Let me see. How do I close this out? Okay, there we go.
Go back to the holsters. Go back to the holsters.
No, we're done. You're gonna see this ugly stuff. But
what am I 3D printing?
Yeah, no, my face. But Bubba's Blasters that was on here last week.
Yep.
I mean, he was with Tier 1 Concealed through SHOT Show. I mean, he wears them all the time. I've got a few other buddies that I've got on Instagram that nothing but Tier 1 Concealed. So I mean, they're quality products that will never fail at all. Period.
I'm curious how this slide's going to turn out, even with that, like that whole area in the front that's kind of screwed up.
I mean, you might be able to get a Tier 1 Concealed Rick and and finish
See
it
if it'll
out.
fit into there.
Yeah.
Dude, 3D printed holster.
Yeah.
You know what? That does exist. We were talking speaking of which, I was looking at what's the cheap option for me to get like a holster set up for my St. Foglio clone. Aries Teffield doesn't have a mold for it, and I wanted to buy one from him. But I'm looking at so my next step was trying to find something economical to buy, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can look and see there's something out there to 3D print. And I found mag holders that are out there. Like you have to buy some hardware for them and stuff, but I'm like, you can actually 3D print the mag holder. Or I could probably just design my own in Fusion 360, at least for the mag holders. The holster would be a little more difficult, but it's not something that's not doable. There's people who have done it. I don't know if I have the skill yet to do that, but design it. But I'm sure we can get it to print. We've had a few failed prints. Like this slide looks kind of goofy right now. But
hey, if it don't work, just paint it blue and call it a training gun, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I want to get some other colors of filament. Speaking of that, Brandon,
the ATS right now, watching this, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to have to invoke regulations on this." He's printing his own weapon.
Yeah, right. There is actually a file that who was it? Defense Distributed, I think, a while back. They were doing. They're the guys that make the Ghost Gunner mill machine that you can buy. That's like pretty much all set up where you can get a 80% AR-15 lower, put it in there, and it mills it out for you and does all the stuff. They came with a file for something they call a Liberator. It's basically a single shot 22 3D printable pistol. I think if I remember right, the barrel, so to speak, is 3D printed into it. The only thing you need is I think a nail for a firing pin and a spring of some type or something. It was very minimal hardware that you had to actually get to make one of these things. I was like, that's kind of cool. Maybe one day if I find a file for that, I'll print one, and it'll be my project for YouTube. I kind of get the notion I want to kind of make some stuff like that to go to the range and test out. 3D printed parts. That is
progression. I mean,
what's
you're
that?
It's a natural progression. You're like a kid in a candy store. You just want to make everything.
That's what That's what I was kind of warned. We had James Renteria on here from CYA Concealment, or also from the High Speed Shooting Stabilizer. He has those two companies, and he does a lot of 3D printing. That's kind of how he made his thing. He started out as a 3D prototype, that he started making those. But they're saying, yeah, once you get into it, all of a sudden you want to start printing like everything and anything you can print, and you're gonna start buying spools of filament. And this is still the first spool I bought. That I've done a lot of stuff with it. My pencil holder thing that was pretty big. It was a 4x4 inch. I think it's 4x4 by 4.5 inch tall. Thing. And then a bunch of little parts and stuff that I was playing around with. Like I made a stage saver and this barrel, and now we're printing a screwed up slide, which I have the feeling that what might happen is the dimensions on the side, like where the rails be, might be okay, but like the front of it's going to be a little screwed up. So I don't know. It might be totally screwed up in the front now, probably actually in that one corner. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how it comes out. Maybe there'll be enough of it kind of there where we can put this crappy plastic barrel inside of it and just kind of put this crappy model together in the end. Or I'll just start over from scratch with the whole new print. But there's a lot of cool things out there. What's nice is there's a lot of people sharing. And Ghost Tactical was out there watching, by the way, on YouTube. He asked what holsters. That was Tier 1 concealment, correct? Corey?
I don't know if it's or not.
The website is tier1concealed.com.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Just want to make sure I wasn't screwing it up. So he might be away because I see his cam's off right now. But yeah, anyhow, lost my train of thought. So back to just to kind of recap what I was talking about earlier about this whole thing. I'm thinking we're probably going to do some 3D printing with this stuff like in the future for shows, just have it running in the background. But I want to get a second webcam so that it doesn't totally take away from having you all see my face, during the show. Not that nobody wants to see it anyway, but it is what it is. So anyhow, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up for tonight. Unless you guys got any final thoughts you want to go into. We'll probably sometime if you watch on the Instagram, by the way, I'll probably post some pictures of this when it's done, maybe, or we'll kind of let you know how it turned out next week. If it's totally junk, I might just throw it in my scrap pile, kind of see what happens. But anyhow, it's fun. It's like watching paint dry, though. It takes forever to see the final result on it. Looks like our buddy Joe dropped out. I think he was having some issues with his computer or something today. But anyhow. Go across the room, Brandon. I know I'll just mention this briefly. You mentioned you're going to do your first competition coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I actually ordered some double alpha race holster mags and Blade Tech holster yesterday, so it should be coming in before the weekend.
Cool.
And I'm going to do my first USPSA match with the CZ75 I've been working up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
Yeah, you got to show it now.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I love the CZs now. I'm like getting more into it.
This is a Buds special. Well, let me clear, no mag. It's all good. This is a $300 Buds special. It was the cheapest, ugliest used one that they had. It didn't come with the rear sight. I stuffed it full of Cajun Gunworks parts and converted it to single action only. That was about $250 more, and bought a couple of mags with it, and these things are awesome. Also, the Loke G10 grips, awesome. Thin grips. I like the thin grips like the 1911s.
That's awesome pistol. How long ago did you buy it?
I got it, I think it was right before Christmas somehow. I scraped up money right before Christmas, and then just kind of, I went through a few rounds of stuffing all the parts in, as money came in. And I've got a build thread on the CZ forum I can link to you or whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of fun taking it apart, learning how all the insides, go and everything. And man, the Cajun Gunworks parts, a lot of that you can do it by yourself, if you have a little bit of inaptitude there. But they got some great stuff. And I mean, it looks ugly, but it's kind of a sleeper, but it's like 500, $600 total. And
you got those CZs, man.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty awesome.
So So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then a couple of weeks ago, I did a speed steel match with the Ruger 22, and I was testing out a prototype front sight that I'm working on for that, and that worked out pretty well, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm going to be looking.
Any moving and shooting type matches before?
I've done IDPA, just one match a couple years ago, and then a Glock match, but that's pretty much standing. But it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the USPSA. I think that'd be right up my alley. We'll see how it goes.
Very cool.
My very first shooting competition was a USPSA match.
Oh wow!
And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be great. I had my little Glock 23 and a couple mags I scraped together, thinking it was going to be some local, like just some local weekend match.
Yeah.
Major classifier. Like
okay.
Like 120 shooters. The U.S. Marine Corps action shooting team showed up. Travis Tomasi showed up to compete. Steve Anderson showed up. Like 3 other world champions. I'm like, well, wow. I'm here for fun. I am not winning shit today.
That's what
learn as much as you can, right?
Oh man, I couldn't get anywhere near those guys, man. They were swarmed. I was like, you know what? I'm just here to shoot. I don't get starstruck over stuff like that. It's just, I'd love to sit down and have a beer with them or something like that, just to pick their brain. But yeah, I'm not gonna go drool all over them like a lot of those other groupie gun nuts do. They're out there too.
Gun nuts.
A couple of other things this week. I also ordered some 9mm and 357 dies for the 650, so I'm gonna be pumping out ammo on that thing coming up too.
Awesome. So I need to get going on that. I'm running low on my 9mm supply. I've got a whole pile of projectiles for it, but I just gotta start loading it. So cool. Well, I appreciate you having me on, Brandon, and thank you for the work you've been doing on the website. I know we're just about done getting the submission form for email and stuff set up, so people can contact us on the 50 States project and whatnot. It's pretty cool. Thank you. And Corey, you got any final thoughts from Southern Style Beards?
Let's see. No, I mean, other than talking about training and talking about holsters, one thing I wanted to mention was the thing that happened last night at the school. I was already asleep. I was in bed by 9 last night, and my phone started ringing about 10:30, and there was a suspect at my campus at the athletic center that was carrying a gun, and he was not a student there. He was from Louisville, Kentucky. He was nowhere from the area. He wasn't a student. He wasn't from here. And the school did a great job of letting all the students know and all the parents and doing all the alerts and sending out everything that they needed to do. It all started over an altercation, and a gun was flashed. Other than that, I don't really know. They never caught the guy. They said that by the time they got there, the guy was already gone. Like I said, I don't know any more information, but that's a little concerning. You don't know who he was with, where he came from, what his intentions were, what the argument was about. But it's definitely kind of nerve-wracking whether or not it's at 10:30 at night to 8:30 in the morning when there's a bunch of people there. You just don't know. There was not a basketball game going on that night. I guess it was just weightlifting practice, maybe. I don't know, but it's definitely something that we've tried looking at before, to have students who have a carry permit carry on campus. Now there is a bill in place in Indiana that you can have a concealed weapon in your car, but you can't. It has to remain in your car. Now, whether or not that would do any good at that at that time or place. You know, a gun was, like I said, a gun was flashed from inside the waistband. It wasn't pulled out. It wasn't anything apparently. So still a dangerous situation. Still concerning. That can happen anywhere. Luckily, it just didn't escalate to it. So just always be prepared.
I don't know what that was, but yeah, thanks again, Corey.
That was my dryer.
Oh, okay. Like the buzzing noise of what the heck? Yeah, thanks again for being with us. Again, check out SideStyleBeardsLC.com.
Yep.
And also, Kent, you got anything you want to follow up with?
No, good discussion. Cool to see that printer run.
You just coming out all screwed up.
Make sure while you're working with that thing that you like take water breaks and go outside and get fresh air and daylight every once in a while. And
I let it run. I mean, like the other night I was what was I printing? Oh, I was finishing up my pencil holder thing, and it had like another hour and a half left. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Just go to bed and whatever. Wake up and be done. Hope the house doesn't burn down in the meantime. But you know,
I just picture like Hot Pockets wrappers and like empty beer cans all throughout that room, and like
Mountain Dew.
Your wife rolls in and you've been in there without a shower for like 3 weeks straight. Come to the light, Rick. Come to the light. We miss you.
No, and by the way, too, we started on a little bit of a different diet now too, so no more Hot Pockets.
Oh, fine. Gluten-free soy substitute microwave edibles, whatever the fuck you call them.
Yeah, soy's off the list too on this thing, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us and hanging out. Appreciate it. And TJ, congrats on the new I would say website, the new YouTube channel.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. So, apparently the folks over at Squirrel Daddy saw the video and they were impressed with it punching through the case. So that's glad I was able to lighten that, to shine a light on that capability for them.
That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, anyway, thanks again for being with us tonight. And I was gonna try to log in on my phone so I can show this barrel, but we'll have to try that maybe next week or something. It kind of looks like, just to kind of sum up where we're at now. I mean, again, this camera angle, you can't see how tall the parts are, but now it's probably at least 1/8 of an inch thick, I would say. Maybe a little more. That mag, when I went to look at it a little while ago, part of the strings and stuff I was seeing was actually from like the support material. So it might actually kind of turn out, other than the fact of the support material on the outside being all kind of screwed up. And by the way, Joe dropped out on us. His internet was acting up, so he had to jump out early. He's contacted me to let you know. So again, thanks, Joe, for being on with us tonight. So I'm hopeful that mag will actually kind of come out halfway decent. The floor plate looks pretty good. I think I might have printed that floor plate upside down because I was looking at it earlier and I was printing the G for the Glock. So that might be slightly screwed up in that sense, but I'm not too worried about the Glock lettering on it. If it's functional, that's like what I'm trying to achieve with it. I think it'd be kind of nice if it was functional. In the slide, you can kind of see it's got some boogered up spots on it, but it may, like I said, like it may print up enough that it's still kind of usable, but just looking kind of all messed up in the one corner of the porting and whatnot. So I'm anxious. It's like you want to sit there and watch it complete, like we were saying, Kent. And thing is that this will be going for hours yet before we're done. So 3D printing takes a long time. If you're looking at like producing parts to resell or just in a short time, sometimes having more than one printer, from my understanding, helps because you can print several pieces of whatever you're building at one time, and that cuts down on your times to completion. But it's a slow process. I knew that going into it, and regardless, it's fun to watch. And by the way, from this angle, you can see like can't see the spool of a PLA material, but you can see the strand coming down into the print head, which is pretty neat. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll just wrap it up for tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. And as always, till next time, have fun shooting.